Welcome back to the Giant Rugby League Show, episode 15 today. Obviously, we weren't with you last week. Schedules were just a little bit too busy, so only the Challenge Cup we missed, so not much to preview there. Welcome back, Nathan. How are we doing?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Glad to be back. My schedule and home life and everything that's been going on has just been chaotic, so glad to finally have some time to sit down. And obviously there's a lot for us to go through, so really excited.
Yeah, good to see you've put the uniform on today. It's nice to see, nice smart look. Yeah, I mean, probably nowhere else to start, really. Huddersfield Giants, new head coach. Didn't see that one coming, really.
No, I had someone message me, and there were a couple of names that had been thrown out, and that just obviously wasn't one that came up. Very surprised by it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very left field appointment, isn't it? It's very left field. He's not coming as he's not got successful. Well, he's won one New South Wales Cup. He's not really coming from a successful background in terms of NRL, top league kind of experience. Obviously, it's been an extensive recruitment process, so I think the board, you'd like to think of the board. Well, they've obviously spent a lot of time on it, making sure they're getting the right person, making sure they're getting the person that's going to take the club forward, and kind of their vision is the same as kind of the board's. So yeah, it's one of them where until he's in and going, we're not going to know, are we?
No, and you never really want to be negative before someone's walked through the door. But just to touch on obviously what you've said there in terms of the Titans, they haven't been. I think I looked, and they've finished in the top 8 once in the time they've been there. Subsequently went out of the playoff or the race over there within the first week. Obviously the finishers prior or in and around that have been poor. Last season, obviously finishing really low. I think they were second bottom. Then they've been 13th, 14th, 11th. So, not like you say, it's not coming from a success. So that's obviously something to maybe be wary of. However, on the obviously, Justin Holbrook put out a little video, didn't he, saying, it was a great bit of recruitment. Obviously, he'd worked alongside him. He knows what it takes to obviously win the Super League. He's come over and done it, obviously, with Saints, and had a great Saints team firing when he was there. So whether he's seen something in him that is potential, something like that. The only thing I will say is I'd have preferred someone who wasn't coming in on a first head coach gig for me. Yeah. Every time that we might get proven totally wrong here, but when I was looking at the process and what I wanted someone who, like you've mentioned previously, and I know this was never going to be the appointment, Darryl Powell, I was saying Brian McDermott. Obviously, they were just pie in the sky names. We know they weren't going to come to the club, but what we knew with them is that there'd be a culture shift when they came in. Obviously, you look at Sam Burgess, obviously, he's had spells where Warren have played really, really well last year. Obviously, the dropped off finish is a bit of a car crash, but then started this year strong, there or thereabouts. So, an inexperienced manager doesn't mean that you can't get a team playing well. So that side of things, I think, maybe you can come in and make a difference. But what I wanted is I wanted a totally different culture to what we've had, and a lot more grit and fight. So if you can install that, then happy days. But I'd have preferred someone who's been there, done that, and maybe could have even potentially had a couple of players, like a bit of a Warnock or someone like that who had them players who were Harry Redknapp, for example, just to refer to football in terms, someone who brought in a bit of an army with them and had like the trusted player like Paddy Kenny, the goalkeeper, brought with him, or you know what I'm trying to say, like them solid players that have been there, done it for the coaches before, and that they can rely on. And unfortunately, that might not prevail. Whether he knows some young up and coming talent, which from the New South Wales Cup and other competitions, maybe. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think obviously, like you say, it's his first head coaching role. Again, kind of my preference was that I wanted he needed to be kind of rip it up and start again with the Giants in here. That's what I feel like it needs. It needs some massive changes. Kind of across the whole club, really. And when he's coming into his first role, he's not going to bring any backroom staff with him, which again is something that I think we need. I thought like we don't have many coaches there. It's like there's coaches that do first team and reserves. I think, yeah, that shows. And obviously, like you said about Burgess, obviously he's doing well now, but all of a sudden he's doing well now. He's got McNamara behind him, which obviously no one's going to deny that's not playing a huge part. And when you're coming in and doing your first head coaching role, you need something like that, and that's not what we can offer. We've got Liam Finn, who probably will, I reckon, end up being assistant. Again, he's done 3 or 4 games as a head coach in Super League. Rest has been in Championship. You've got Cudjoe, who's literally just retired. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I hope it proves me wrong. And I hope it's a massive success and it takes the club forward. I just think, yeah, it shocked me in the direction they've gone. But again, like I say, they've spent 4 weeks, 5 weeks doing this recruitment process, and yeah, I think there'll be a lot of the board will be hanging their head on this is our decision and it needs to be right.
Yeah, one thing I just want to jump and add on in as well, which I think is going to be absolutely vital, is that when he comes in, this next 8 weeks is going to be huge in terms of retention for players for next year, and signings for next year, because obviously we're at a nearly midpoint of the season. I know there's a bit to go before we're halfway there, but we're well into it, aren't we? Let's be honest. Some teams have already started to do the recruitment. They've got the signings for next year. They've re-signed some players to make sure they're on board. So that's what we need to do now. He needs to come in. He needs to spend, I don't know, what do you think, 4 to 6 weeks in training every week, understanding the players, what makes them tick, looking and going, yeah, he's for me. No, he's not. Who can I bring in? Are there any hidden gems, New South Wales Cup, coming through the ranks at maybe Gold Coast or some other teams that he's seen in the scouting network that he probably has in Australia? That's the only thing that I think is an actual massive positive, is that he'll be involved in the scouting of players for New South Wales teams looking up to obviously Gold Coast, and if we can bring some of them over here for some first team footy, you only need a couple of hidden gems and that'll really change your look for next year. But yeah, it's key for me on him locking down them players who he wants for next year, and also maybe making that decision of going, no, unfortunately, you're not in my plans, and these are the players who are, and getting them in and getting the business done. Because let's be honest, we're not going to be, I hate to say it, I don't want to be negative, obviously we want to be in the playoffs, but realistically this year, that ambition, especially with Clune out for as long as what he is now, I don't think that's a realistic expectation.
No, I don't think kind of after the first 6 games that we played up until that Wigan game, I think you knew where we're going to be in the table. Kind of same story, different season. I think, yeah, like you've just said, recruitment is huge. Obviously, Clune's now out for 12 to 16 weeks. For me, that's got to be thanks for coming at the end of the season. Kind of look elsewhere, because yeah, he is as captain, and obviously we are a massively better side when he's on the pitch. But as long as he's been at the Huddersfield Giants, he's not been on the pitch enough, and you can't re-sign somebody who's constantly injured, because that is crazy to do. You've got Tuef who's been here for years. Again, last 2-3 seasons, not done anything really. There's no other club that's probably looking at him and going, oh yeah, he'd really add something to our side. And that's your 2 halves really, isn't it? I'd like to see Flanagan given a go in the halves, just to kind of, is a year older from when he was playing there last year. He's got a lot more experience from when he went up to fullback. So I'd like him to go into the halves in the next couple of weeks when he's match fit, just to see what he's got and see if it's a future thing. If not, but yeah, there's a lot of players off contract, like I went over in a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and recruitment is huge going forward. I mean, personally for me, I'd love somebody like George Whitby to come in to replace like Clune. I think he's kind of a star of the future, and obviously with Saints he's not preferred at all, and would be now I think would be a great time to go and get somebody like that, because he's got when Lomas was injured, Hastings and Sailor were there. When Sailor can play there, Lomas played there. when Lomax's in playing there, when Lomax's in playing there, Wellesby's playing there. So he's kind of got 3-4 men in front of him at the moment. So I think going for somebody like that, who I think when he has played for Saints, he's done a really good job. He's young. When he played for Halifax last year, in the games that I saw, he was a level above everybody. And I think that's probably where we want to go. We don't want to be bringing somebody over from Australia that's hardly played any games and taking a huge gamble. When Whitby's been available for most of the time, and when he's played consistently. So I think that would be kind of an ideal signing for me. Who would you like to see in the halves next year?
I think Whitby's a good shout. I think obviously it won't happen, but like Sinfield was obviously a great shout for Wakey, and everyone was a bit like, does that work? And to be honest with you, when we got Russell back, I thought it's not a bad shout, but unfortunately, the chances that he's had, he hasn't done what he needs to do. He's good in defence and stuff, and he's solid, and he can guide you around, but there's not enough creativity there for me, and so that's what I'd like. I'd like someone who can carve a defence up, if I'm being honest. Someone who's got that X factor. We're obviously talking as a club about, the ambitions, the expectations. This is where we need to be. That's where we want to go. Well, let's go make a statement. Obviously, let's get someone. And I think, like you say, if you got George Whitby over from St. Helens, I think that's an absolutely great shout. Someone who you can say, look, you are the future of this club. Give him a nice long-term contract and say, go out there and show everyone what you can do.
Yeah.
And just don't have an NRL clause in his contract either. Because obviously, if he played well, that could be something which goes for him. I'm shocked he hasn't got more game time at Saints, because the games that he has played and he has stepped in for, because he has played a couple this year.
Yeah.
He looks the part, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? And Saints look a good team for having him in it, but for whatever reason, I think the problem with theirs is that the other halves that are ahead of him are probably a lot higher up on the wage bill. You've obviously, like you mentioned, the names. So, yeah, someone like that would be good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. It's like you say, obviously, we're saying, like, Ken's come out and said this coach is one step closer to us getting to a grand final. Well,
it's the signings that need to come from me. That's what it needs to be.
And like Wolford, great 9. Evans, we've got him at fullback, got another season for him. Flanagan probably is going to slot in there in another 12, 18 months' time. But for me, having 2 including your halves, we're not getting anywhere near a grand final with that partnership. We need to replace both of those for us to really progress up that league. And like you say, somebody like Sinfield's gone to Wakefield, but he's pushed Lino out of the team, and they're a lot better team when they've got Sinfield and Truman playing than when the games when I've seen Lino and Truman playing. They're a miles better team with Sinfield in. And he's taking his opportunity, which I think somebody like Whitby, if you could go get him, he'd be like, right, stuff you, St. Helens. You had me 5th choice in halves. Let me show you what I can do. Let me show you what I'm about. And if he's got an NRL contract in and in 2 years' time went to the NRL, well, he's going to have to do a bloody good job for us for him to get that contract. So, not the worst thing.
No, and obviously, I know this won't happen either, but Farriman's like another young, solid talent at Wigan, isn't he? Like I watched that game at the weekend, which we'll probably go on to in a little bit, but he's not there consistency level yet, because I've watched a few games. Obviously, we've seen them struggle, and he has been in the team, but because they had a lot more players back and good players around him, he stood up with them, if that makes sense. Having the better players around him really helped him.
Yeah. We'll move on to that game. To be fair, we'll move on to the Challenge Cup weekend. And yeah, like you say, good victory for Wigan. Nil in St. Helens. It's a serious statement. And yeah, Farriman, I think what it showed at the weekend is how important Harry Smith is to Wigan.
Yeah.
Because Harry Smith was guiding him around the pitch. When Farriman did have the ball, he had that extra little bit of space, and he has got that bit of genius in him. But when he's having to be the main half at such a young age, you can't expect much from him. But yeah, I think a lot of people kind of were saying Harry Smith don't get in the England side, probably don't even get on the plane. But I think it showed at the weekend a team like Wigan, when he's not in the side, they are a completely different team. And you probably realise that more because he's not been playing, of how important he is to Wigan.
See, for me, I 100% agree with you. And I personally, if I were picking the house, I'd go with Harry Smith and Jake Connor, and I'd play Jake Connor at 6. And or I'd go with Harry Smith and Mikey Lewis and maybe have Connor on the bench. However, I don't know how you'd. This is the problem, right? You've got to fit them all in. But for me, George Williams isn't a part of that puzzle.
Well, he's injured in his senses, and I don't think he does.
He's the captain at the minute, isn't
he? He is a captain, but I don't think unless he's fit
and
2-3 games before playoffs and he plays 5 or 6 games and he gets them to a grand final, I don't see how he goes, because how can you? We've got Tonga in his group, we've got Papua New Guinea in his group. We need to be playing well to even get through our group. And playing somebody who's played 1 or 2 games after missing the majority of the season.
I'm going to say the 2 physical sides as well, aren't they? Packs that you're going to get with the team. So
you can't really. I just can't see George Williams being there at the moment unless he has serious recovery and he comes back early and he fires with Warrington and gets him to a grand final. Then you probably go, fucking fair play, you're on there. But if he's coming back and it's kind of in playoff and he's getting back and they don't really do much, yeah, it's one of them. But yeah, I mean, Wigan, I think, yes, statement victory, that one.
Yeah, but to be honest as well, I thought Saints were really poor. They were disappointing. They had so much ball, so much possession, and they were like us for the last 2-3 years when they got in the opponent's 20 and 30. They just didn't know what to do with it. I hate to say this because he's such a quality player, but I just don't know. They can't play with Jack Wellsby and Sailor together.
No.
It just doesn't work. They've been playing so well without him. And I'm not saying he doesn't get in the team, but
Wellsby's your fullback, innit?
They look better and slicker when Sailor at fullback though.
Mm.
And the thing is, for me, Jack Wellsby used to make it look so effortless when he was playing. I think he's trying to do too much as well. Like, to try, I think, because obviously it was, Saints went through that spell where they won obviously a couple of comps in a row. He was like the golden boy England guy, and obviously he had a series to forget. This summer with a mistake, getting dropped by Wynn, didn't make it back in, and then now it's almost like he's that position's up under threat, or he's getting moved, he's getting put in the halves, or it's almost like he's trying to show everyone how good he is. But he just needs to go back to what he was doing and just playing it a bit more effortless. Because I think every time he gets the ball, you look at him, he's just predictable because he just looks like he's always trying to do that pass to put someone through every time, rather than just being, just putting the play on. Like an experienced half, Harry Smith, for example, he might go tackle one, we'll do this, we'll do that. And then on the 4th play, he might jump out, throw that pass that does it. But because he hasn't been trying to do it for the other 2-3 tackles for the last 70 minutes in a game, do you know what I mean? It's a lot more unpredictable. Whereas I feel like Wellsby's become a bit predictable in how he does it. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't know where he fits in that team. Obviously, we've got him this week, and yeah, I don't know where he'll start against us.
No, I think one thing as well, kind of for Saints, for me, I think one place I struggle is on the wings as well. Like, I'm sorry, but you're not winning a grand final with Lewis Murphy as your winger. Like, that's never happening. Like, Leeds, you've got Seaborn Hall, Hull KI, you've got
Burgess and
Davis. Wigan, you've got Marshall and
Eckersley.
Do you know what I mean? That, like, you look at those 3 sides, you go, top wingers, try scorers there. I look at Lewis Murphy and I'm like, sometimes looks like a bit like Rabbit in the Headlights. And I think, especially this year, like, that's why I don't see them getting to a grand final this year, just because of that. I don't think they will score enough points to beat sides like that, which is what you need to do. But yeah, they just looked really clunky in attack. And the thing is, I think obviously a lot of ball goes through Hastings, doesn't it? And I need guys around the pitch.
His kicking was really poor.
It was poor, but when they went the other way and it went to like Sailor and Sailor kicked, they were terrible kicks. So it was like, yeah, any time they got in Wigan's 20,
It was just a bad.
They made Wigan look better than they were actually defending, I think.
Well, I was sat there watching the game, and I'll be brutally honest, I didn't know if Wigan had defended that well, because Saints were doing well with one thing I'm looking, they were throwing it around.
Yeah,
they were going from side to side. I don't know whether their defence was that good, it made them look shit, or whether they played shit and it made them look better.
That's what I'm trying to.
I honestly couldn't understand. I sat there watching it and I'm like, I don't see Saints getting through here, and Wigan are dealing with everything they've got, but I couldn't tell you, and I just thought the kicking from, like I say, both of them I thought were very poor. I don't know if it was just an off day for Saints. Obviously, we in previous shows we've been saying, Rowley knows what he's doing, he gets some play. But yeah, that just a big game that didn't turn up, and see how they go.
I just think in terms of wide positions and stuff like that, there's not enough big game players to get through those moments. And obviously Matty Pete like that little dig at the end, saying kind of Saints have lost their identity with the Leyland thing on Good Friday. And it's a bit, don't really know what to think of that. But one thing I do think is, I like to see rivalries like that in between Wigan and Saints and other teams. It's good to see, and the sport needs that. And one thing I will say is Wigan, they don't go out on loan players, do they? They like to trust the youth. And Saints obviously going out again, Leyland, and that's where the digs come from. So, but yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? It's just a bit of confidence in it. It's like I say, it's good for the game, the rivalry, and it boosts engagement and things like that. And I think he was probably just pissed off, because they played shit on Good Friday and they got embarrassed really by
on the last 10 minutes as well, though.
Yeah, and they probably got embarrassed by like how was the game finished, and he's just saying, look, like, just remember that one game.
Yeah.
Our dominance has been the last couple of years, not yours. So I think he was just a bit more reminding him of what he's about, really.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other game, obviously, Hull KR 32, 1-12. Hull KR looked good. I think Warren looked poor, though. I think like Bentley, but I don't know what he was doing. He lost his head. And one thing I do think, obviously, Sneed had a poor game for it as kind of his standards go. But I think, like, when I was watching the game, and you could see every single time he was going to Sneed, every single time. And me watching the game was just a fan and not even a coach. I could see that they were just going to Sneed every time. And the amount of ball Irwin had wasn't as much as kind of I think he should be getting. I think he's a serious talent. And yeah, I think when so much ball's going to Sneed, and he has a poor game, you're going to struggle, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I think they've suffered with this a couple of times this year. So obviously they were flying out when they played Leeds, and they did the same sort of thing. I think what they're doing is they're going, right, we're in a big game, we don't have Williams, we're just going to try and keep it through Sneed. But what they're actually losing is they're losing the unpredictability and the star quality they've got when Irwin's on the ball. So obviously, like, when he's there and he's doing the off-the-cuff things and they're beating the lower teams in the league and everyone's praising him for how well he plays, well, then you can't really take that responsibility away from him in a big game. He's going to learn if he makes a mistake in a big game, then he'll come back and learn from it, won't they? They just need to stop putting all the ball in one way, like you say. Obviously, Hull KR, for me, they're just coming back out. They're like very much under the radar. They had a tough start to the season and they've just gone, right, we're just going to get back to how we were. And I think they're showing, obviously, the credentials now and back to another final again. And obviously they've got their old rivals Wigan to play it out with. So I think it'll be a cracking
big game.
Probably for RFL, probably best commercial game for him to get in. It'll be repeat of last year's grand final, and they'll want to settle the score. They've got Wigan, like you say, they've got a lot of players back now. Good to see Wardle, Smith, Walters, everyone back out there. So yeah, really, I'm quite happy with that
they could get watched. They could get watched. There'll be a lot there with kind of the two clubs that are in it. And yeah, I think one player this year that's kind of definitely got to be in that Man of Steel talking if he carried on as he has. It's got to be Tyrone May. I think he was superb at the weekend. And he's kind of bossing it for them at the moment. So, and that takes a lot of pressure off Mikey Lewis. And then Mikey Lewis comes up with his genius moments and takes all the glory. But I think Tyrone May, I think he's he's performing seriously well this year. But yeah, we'll move on. Kind of predictions now. So yeah, I mean Thursday night's game, Giants at home to Saints. I don't see us winning, but
Be nice to see a reaction like it was for the Wigan game. It'd be nice to be in the game.
100%.
Because we've obviously reverted back to how we started the years and how we've been finishing the last couple of seasons. We've been conceding heavy and scoring little. So we've had some time off. We've added obviously the hooker from
Collier or something.
yeah, the hooker from Oldham comes highly rated. I think that's a position we needed to strengthen because I think that we've got a fantastic player in Wolford, but we expect too much from him. And I think actually, if we could get him off the field earlier than what we normally do, and get him back for the last 10 of a game, it'll make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got someone on there, from what I've seen, he's a running hooker as well.
Yeah.
So if he comes on 30 minutes in, 50 minutes in, whatever it might be, even if it's only a 20-minute spell, and he's running around tired players, then that's going to give us something that we don't have at the minute.
Yeah.
Because when the thing is for us, we're bringing on either Rush, Rustall, players who aren't naturally hookers, and are definitely not running hookers.
No.
So to have that option, running on tight defence, I think is fantastic. Good to see that we've jumped out into the loan market. Obviously, I'm unsure why Douglas has gone back to Saints, whether they're thinking of giving him a go, because like you said, obviously, they're struggling with their wingers. And we play Saints this week. He's gone back for good, though, and he ain't coming back.
Yeah, true.
So whether they thought that, I'm not sure why he's gone back, but what I am happy with is how quickly we've gone out. So obviously, Kershaw's come in.
Come on, that's got a punch pool as well. He wants game time, doesn't he?
And the thing is with him, he's a good player. He's a good player, and he's obviously he's Hulk hard. Do you know what I mean? And he's when he's played Super League with London, he couldn't stop scoring tries. Do you know what I mean? So very similar mould to Swift as well.
Yeah,
very similar mould to Swift, like strong from coming out of the back, like knows his way to the try line. So that's a positive as well. So it'd just be nice to see him a bit more of a fight and be in a game. And obviously we'll be down there. I hope, for fingers crossed, it comes out a bit better than it has been doing.
Yeah. Friday night's game now. 2 games, obviously. Wakefield at home to Catalan. I think Wakefield win that. I think Catalan too inconsistent. Wakefield at home on a Friday night.
They're all over the shop, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go for Wakey, so that means Catalan will win, 'cause every time I go against them, they win, and every time I back them, they lose. So, but yeah, well, Wakey obviously super consistent, playing really well, and Catalan obviously they can turn up on the night and beat anyone, but you just never really know what you're going to get, do you?
No. Probably game of the weekend, I think quite comfortably. Wigan at home to Leeds. Leeds firing on all cylinders this year, looking really good, looking like they're really up for that battle, for that top spot. Wigan just coming off a poor run of form, but got that important victory in nil Saints.
I'm going Wigan, mate.
Yeah, wow. I'm going Leeds because I fancy Leeds. I think they just look a serious outfit this year, and they've got so many good players.
I just don't know. Always on big occasion, like they're not always there.
No,
and I just think that Wigan are the type of team that can frustrate Leeds in how they play and how they defend. So yeah, I'm going to go for Wigan on that one. And
I'll go for Leeds, but I'm looking forward to watching that on Friday night. To be honest, I think it'll be good viewing. Saturday's fixtures now: York at home to Castleford. Big game for both sides, isn't it?
Yeah, it's around our realms, isn't it? The teams around us doing either of them getting a point, really, couldn't we? Castleford for me, I think.
Yeah.
I think York. I'll be honest, I don't know how they're doing in terms of getting players back. Obviously, they've started the season well, but really, really suffered with injuries. But on
a couple that were on loan at Leeds, I think they've come back as well. They're playing for reserves on Friday, so yeah, I don't know how they're doing on numbers. So I'm going to go with you on that. I'm going to go Cass on that one.
Yeah.
Toulouse against Warrington. I think Warrington bounced back. Obviously, it is away at Toulouse, but yeah, I think they've got too much talent and too many good players. Warrington to go and lose that game.
Yeah, I'll go with you on that one. I don't know. I'm going with you, but to semi-sit on the fence, I just won't be surprised if Toulouse win it. They just come up, don't they? Their game this year and they put in a performance.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they're a bit like Catalan, really, aren't they? They've
Yeah,
done some good performances, played well, and then they've just looked not even at the races in other games. So
yeah. I just think Warren need a victory after last weekend. I think I think a lot of people that will have gone over and watched them, I think they'll come away a bit disappointed with the effort. Well, not the effort, but the kind of the overall performance. So I think they need a bit of a response over in France. Lee at home to Hull KR. I can't see anything other than a Hull KR win. I think the last few times I've watched Hull KR, they look back to themselves. They're back doing what they did last year, punishing teams, and that thing where they're on the fourth and fifth tackle. If they're not scoring points, they're putting you on your own 5 in a corner, and good luck getting out. So yeah, I can't say anything other than Hull KR win.
oh, sorry. Life with a newborn, mate. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Hull KR win, but I don't think it's a rollover. Lee have obviously started to get players back, and they're a big physical side, and I think they can match Hull KR in terms of physicality.
Yeah.
I think it'll just be the endurance. I think it'll be the last 60 minutes where Hull KR do what they always do, and I think there might be 2 tries in it. I'd go something like 24-16, something like that as a result if I were a betting man on that.
Yeah. And then final game on Sunday, Bradford against Hull at Odsal as well. I'm gonna go Bradford on this. Yeah, I've got a sneaky feeling that Bradford might pick up 2 points.
I'm gonna go for Hull.
Yeah.
Fancy Hull. I think they've just got a bit more quality, to be honest with you, around the ground. I know Bradford are a tough team to beat at home, but yeah, I just fancy Hull. They've got something to prove, haven't they? Andy Last is in there, and at the end of the day, they've got aspirations to be in the playoffs, and they've got players in that team that can get them there. So that's the type of game. I'm not being funny. If you're looking, you're going deep, right, boys? We've had a break. You've got full energy. You need to go out there, and this is a game you pick up 2 points. And yeah,
and as a player in a Hull FC shirt, you're probably sat there thinking, well, McNamar's coming in next year. Myler's coming out and saying we are striving to win trophies. We are striving to be in those top spots. Well, the way they've started this year and the way they've gone on, you've got a point to prove, haven't you? And you need to be performing if you want him to be in that shirt next year. So yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously you've gone a lot. I just think, I don't know, I've just got a feeling Bradford are going to get the 2 points this weekend, but yeah, hope they don't. So that rounds up a show today. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you for the support, and we shall look forward to some rugby this weekend.